have with us Mr. Harsh Mahaseth, who's an assistant lecturer at OP Jindal Global University. Thank you so much, sir, for accepting my invitation and sparing your time with us.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I just, when you sent me the invitation, I remember just watching a video and it felt really interesting. And so happy to be here.
Thank you so much, sir. So without taking your much time, actually what happens is I don't introduce a guest because I might miss on something. So can you please introduce yourself to the audience and let them know about your journey, those roller coaster rides for 5 years? How is all that?
Okay. So my name's Harsh Mahaseth. I'm from Kathmandu, Nepal, and I did my 12th. I did until my 12th over here.
Stop.
Okay.
Start your answer
So,
from the, yeah.
Sure. So my name's Harsh Mahaseth, and I live in Kathmandu, Nepal. And until my 12th, I studied over here in Kathmandu itself. And after that, I decided to come to India to pursue my BLLB, which I did from Hyderabad. And after the 5 years of BLLB, I directly went for a master's in Singapore. And then I wanted to jump into academia. And that's why I joined in the last August, I think I joined. No, September. I joined in September. And yeah, it's been a really interesting journey, I'd say, a roller coaster, as you mentioned. There have been ups, there have been downs during my 5 years. Lots of things to talk about, but I'm guessing that they will also be coming in the next question. So I think I'll just be speaking about them with whichever questions that you might have for me.
So that was about your journey in the colleges, but can you please tell us like what all you were actually doing in your college days? Like what kind of co-curricular activities you were participating in?
Okay, so in my 5 years, honestly, I think apart from basketball, which I used to love playing and I played all 5 years, and football, which I played for the last 2 years with my batch, we actually had batch football. Like every 5 o'clock, 10, 15 of us, we used to get together and play football. Apart from those, I think the only other thing that actually I did throughout was writing. I used to go to the library, I used to study, I used to write articles. And I think that is my co-curricular. I was not very much into mooting. I was not very much into debates, not very much into the other activities. But yeah, legal writing is what I think I would
But what
say.
happens
I
is, yeah, like you said that you were not into that much of mooting and you were always into, drafting and writing. But after watching this, I think some of the audience might have this question like, do you really think that only writing can help you in the legal field? So what do you say about it?
honestly see, apart from the studies that were there, I really do believe that writing was someplace where it's not something that I can just do off the top of my head. I need to have a lot of legal research for it as well. It's not something that I just think about and within 2 minutes I can write. It's something that I read for hours and hours or days and days, and then a concept came into my head, and then I kept on reading up on it and understanding the nuances, understanding the negatives, positives, and then coming to a conclusion. So I actually do think that legal writing does help. It helped me a lot in a lot of things. And honestly, legal writing was something that I most learned from a law firm internship. And that was one of my only 2 law firm internships I did. And after that, I decided I don't even want to do law firm internships. And I just did what interested me. And I did not care about what everyone else was doing. And I just focused on my own legal writing.
You said that you did internships as well. So, like you're really active on LinkedIn and you'll actually witness this thing that right now finding internship for law student is such a big task that you struggle a lot. So what would you say about it? And just tell me something about you, like how many internships you did and in which particular area of law?
So I think I did around 10 to 15 internships. It's a lot, but then most of them were online, and this is when this is pre-pandemic online internships, which are very rare to find. But the reason why I did those many internships is because I wanted to look at a lot of different areas. Not only did I do law firm internships, or let's say research internships at think tanks or research centers. I also did writing internships, not legal writing, writing internships. I did a marketing internship because I just felt like I need to see what there is in the marketing field as well. Um, I did many of those type of internships where, it's not all pertaining to the legal field. I just wanted to try out writing because I loved writing and I wanted to see what's the scope of it. And I think that's what got me into the legal writing field as well. And yeah, I guess there were 10 or 15. I'm not sure. I don't keep count now. I don't even add most of them, but they were all pretty interesting internships which helped me. And some of them were, as I said, online, which I did while I was studying. So I used to go to class, come back, and then in the evening work, and then play, and then come back and work, and just repeat the cycle on and on.
Okay, so that was all about your internships. But the time I actually invited you for the same, what happened is like I was following you from the last 1 week or 2 weeks. So I saw that you're very active on LinkedIn. You're posting legal content, you're actually updating students from time to time. So just tell me one thing, like were you active during your college days as well, or the time we entered this, academic field?
So honestly, LinkedIn is something that I started very late, very late. I think I started LinkedIn so I started it in my third year, I think, or second year, when I had started writing and I had, let's say, 5 or 6 blog articles or something to my name and a couple of journal articles. And I used to keep it to update myself and my followers as well, that I've written this much, I'm doing this internship, etc. But I think I started becoming more active in my 5th year or at the end of my law school career. And then I realized, okay, this is an interesting place to be active because it's more academic in nature and I can share most of my articles and thoughts that I have. And I think I got into this entirely when I started my master's and I was in Singapore. And I think it's only then when I became more active. I don't think I was very active during my law school days in Hyderabad.
Like you said, like when you were in 5th year, you actually got serious about LinkedIn, you started following people and all that. So what would you say about career and LinkedIn? Do you find any relationship between them?
So I actually do think that LinkedIn helps. I think it's helped me get opportunities as well when I was in Singapore. And I do think that it has helped a lot of students right now as well, not only with internships, but also with jobs, also with, I think, guidance, career counseling, etc. So I really do think LinkedIn is a really good platform for all of these matters. And yeah, I think it's helped me and I think it's helped a lot of people.
Yeah, actually, what happens is like being a student, also, I can say that LinkedIn is very useful because it is actually bridging the gap between the professionals and students in a way. That is why, the process is very easy now for me to invite guests like you because you people actually reply very promptly on, in the chat box. So it's like it's a formal in a way and it's informal in a way. So can you please share your one of the best experience of LinkedIn? Like, how did you met anyone who actually helped you in your professional life?
Um, okay, I'll just talk about opportunities maybe from LinkedIn, I guess. So, as I had mentioned that I was not really much into mooting in my law school days. I only did, I think, one moot, which was in my 4th year, not even in my previous years. I failed in a couple of them. So 4th year. And I thought that was it for my mooting career. And in the 5th year, I got the opportunity to teach mooting to the first years. And after teaching mooting, I also got the opportunity to become the representative, the moot court committee representative of Nalsar. So that kind of led my trajectory in mooting. And I then judged a couple of international moots in 2019, 2020. And I used to post about this on LinkedIn. And whenever I used to post about this, people used to see this. I'm guessing a lot of moot court committees saw this. And so they used to invite me for moots through these. Otherwise, I don't think I'm that well known for moots, honestly. So I've been invited for moots, for conferences, all based on my LinkedIn profile. And I think that's why it's been helpful for me.
Okay, so that was more of a formal part of this conversation. Let's move to some, informal parts. So we're going to play some rapid fire. I'm going to ask you some questions and rapidly you have to answer them. You need not to Google them because they are a bit personal. So we're going to start it. Are you good to go? Yeah. Okay. So just tell me, like, how much attendance you had in your college? Like, what was the percentage of the attendance you had?
Um, so I think until third year I had 95 to 97. Like I
And what
nearly
about
had
the
full
fifth year?
attendance.
Just tell me the least
Uh,
percentage of yours.
so fourth and fifth year, I used to be very calculative in which I used to look at, okay, how much is the minimum I require so that I can go off for conferences or trips, etc., etc. So I think I used to maintain an 80% while we had a 75% attendance. I
Yeah,
think I used
75
to,
is must, I think. Yeah.
so I
So,
used to
like
keep
you
around.
said, yeah. So just tell me if there was any professor in your college who used to cut your attendance, even if you don't talk. This happens with me, but just let me ask you as well.
So, if we don't talk, I don't think we had such attendance being cut, but we did have a couple of professors who didn't let us inside the classroom after 5 minutes or 10 minutes. And this professor, especially in the first and second year, we used to have breakfast and we're trying to rush to class and we reach 5 minutes late and he used to latch the door and we used to be knocking from outside. Again, not happened to me a lot of times. I tried to be inside, but has happened sometimes. And then it's always that, okay, I'm not going to give you attendance, you can sit in class if you want to. And of course, I mean,
This
we would
happens with
want.
me, that actually kills when professor says that, okay, you're here to study, right? Attendance should not matter. Just come inside and study, right? Lecture is more important than attendance. And that time I was like,
I,
yes, yes, sir, I'm there for study. Yeah, I'll just come in. And after that, I had to request him, so please give me this attendance. Please, I have to go for the competition. And at that time, attendance actually matters. So, like, do you also think
I
that
think
when professor says that, okay, come inside, you're here to study now? So what is that feeling? I can't define that feeling at all.
so. I think what used to happen was that even though the professor used to say that, at the end of it, he used to generally give the attendance. I mean, I don't think he had that malice in him. It's just that, have that ethic to come on time. So he used to generally give it. And if he didn't, then we used to always just ask at the end of the semester, please give us the one or two attendances. Or if not, then our student body used to help with these things. Like if you volunteer in moots or something, you'll get two attendances or something.
Yeah, then you
So
have on
they
duty leaves, right? Yeah, then you have on duty leaves. So that actually helps. So just
exactly. So
give me a particular number as to how many internships you did.
uh, let's say 10.
10. Okay. And what was the worst experience of yours in the law school?
Law school or internship?
The worst experience.
Law. Okay. Um, I don't think it's a particular moment as much as it's a phase, I think. So because I'm not from India, I think when I reached Nalsar, there were a lot of bright students, and I had this inferiority complex for the first year itself, if not more. So I think that was a really bad phase for me where I missed on a lot of things, did not speak to a lot of people much. So I think I just categorize that as the worst phase.
And the best one?
Bet there are too many. I mean, I can't name it because I had so many lovely moments playing basketball, midnight basketball, or just the football that I spoke about with all of my friends. Professionally, I think I loved it when I had the opportunity to go to Singapore twice and Japan once during my law school life, the 5 years, and they were mostly funded. So I would have many moments. I mean, the entire fifth year, I would say, would also be a lovely experience for me. So, best moment I can't pinpoint, but there are a lot of them.
But what about the worst experience in school? That was all about the law school, right? What about the school days?
By school, you mean 12th and below?
Yeah.
Well, I did not like my school at all. Lots of things. Bullying, I would say, would be one of the majors. So, yeah, I think bullying. It's not a particular incident, but
Yeah, this
phase
happens
itself.
actually. Okay.
Yeah.
So just tell me, if you are given a chance to produce or direct any movie, so like as a producer or director, or just if you can say, or the content writer, what kind of content or the storyline would you choose? taking into consideration the legal field and the scenario.
So this is actually something that I had thought about a lot, but then I can never pinpoint something, especially in the legal field. I mean, whenever I think about the legal field, there are a couple of movies I've watched, and most of them are always like, Jolly LLB, in which
Yeah,
you actually
no.
go.
What I meant to say is you need not to show the particular issue, but you can actually what do you call it? You can actually portray to the other what do you call it? Other people who are in the other profession. You can show the bright side of law as well. So what theme would you go for?
Yeah, I'd actually want to go for a darker theme than a brighter one over here, where I actually show the law firm culture, maybe, so that if someone actually wants to come into Indian law schools, they know that it's not going to be like Harvey Specter or what you see Alan Shore in Boston Legal. It's not going to be like that. You're going to be working throughout the night. It's not going to be that rosy dream in which you're going to court and you'll have those moments like these characters did. I think that's pretty important to show, because a lot of students are very much they look at these series, Boston Legal and Suits, and they take inspiration from them. So I think they need to know that there is this side of the law firm as well, which I don't think is portrayed.
Yeah, particularly if I can just rephrase it, the journey from being a law student to being a good tier 1 or tier 2 firm, the journey, the struggle. Yeah, right. So that's actually very important to
Yeah.
portray to others who think that law is very easy or being a lawyer is very easy, right? Yeah. Okay, so that is all about. Just tell me one thing. Yeah.
Just to
Okay.
add to this, it's
If
not
not law, if not,
no,
you're
no,
not audible. You're not audible.
I said that it's not just about the law firms. I think there should be something that portrays litigation as well, because a lot of people have
exactly my point.
Yeah, they need to know what kind of work you get, how much stress these people take, and how rewarding it could be or could not also be. There's always that negatives and positives that could be there. And it's
That
always
is why
about the
I said the struggle of being a lawyer, right? Everyone needs to know, how difficult it is to being a lawyer, even be the litigation lawyer or the one who's working in the firm. It's very difficult to be a lawyer, to actually maintain the balance between the work life and, because that's very important. Okay. So just tell me, if not law, right? If not law, then what would be the other profession you would have gone for?
So it's something that I'm still not ruling out, because I mean, I'm not that old yet. I can still choose to jump, but I might not. And it's pretty much related, which is international relations. Actually, when I was doing my 11th and 12th, actually when I was in my 12th, I'd say, I was interested more in international relations than I was in law, and so I actually wanted to work at some international organizations, look at policy. But I kind of decided to come to the legal field rather than go to international relations, because it made sense. I mean, from law, I can make the jump easily to IR, but making the opposite jump is quite difficult. So I think, yeah, international relations would have been my second option.
So, if I would just ask, lawyer is equal to what? Just an equation. Lawyer is equal to what?
A person who reads the law and helps in getting the judgment passed, because they're not the ones giving the judgment. They're supposed to just um, help in it.
So I think I don't have much questions now. So we have to wrap up the rapid fire round. So to be on a more formal note, do you help people finding an internship?
Well, again, it's not something that I outrightly write on LinkedIn, but if someone does approach me, then I do try to help them. Like, I have quite a few research assistants right now, and I just took a few more from Nalsar a few days ago. And some of them were asking me that, oh, they're going to start a new internship. And so I just asked them, where is this internship place as well? And then through the names, I found out that some of them are paid internships. By paid, I mean they have to pay for the internships, not them getting paid. or it's where they're being exploited and not even being given credit for their work. So I told them that, see, I think it's not a good internship. I would advise you maybe not to take this up. If you need help, then I can maybe just help identify a couple of places. So that way I've helped quite a few students. But again, it's not something that I outrightly write on LinkedIn that if you need help, please contact me. I think that would be too many students approaching me then.
No, because it's like, do you take research assistants, right? Or research interns? Yeah. So what's the procedure if one wants
Research
to
assistant.
apply for that?
So I used to have a call for RAs when I was working on a particular project in the end of last year, in December. But after that, right now, it's more of if someone is interested and they've already seen that I've taken up so many RAs, they just send me an email. And depending on how they write the email, more than what all they've done, I think it's more about the cover letter, according to me. I just take them up. So, I mean, if someone is interested, then they can just shoot me an email as long as it's professional and I can understand why they want to do the RA ship and they know what I do, because I've had a lot of students send me emails for a mentorship in corporate laws, and I've never studied much corporate laws. So if you know my profile, then I mean
Yeah,
I
I
can
think that's
help.
very important to actually, know like whom you're talking, because you need to do a little bit of research as to whom you're talking. You need to know what he has done or what he's been doing. Because in the previous session also, we had a session with Advocate Danesh Mehta, who's an associate at Mullah and Associates. So even he also said that it's very important for you, even if you connect with someone on LinkedIn, you need to know like who that person is. What is he doing? Like you said, like people approach you for the mentorship session on corporate laws, but you don't know or you're not much aware about it. So actually that's very important. Okay, so let me just ask another question based on this. That what would you say to people who actually want to expand their network? Particularly, we can say that in a way they want to do networking with the professionals. So is there any particular advice for them?
Networking with professionals. So again, I'm not sure how much help. I mean, I think it would help even during Corona. How I started my networking was more towards there are two things. I mean, one, when I used to go to conferences, I used to meet people. I used to talk about what I'm interested in, because the conferences are in particular areas. You will find like-minded individuals over there. And even if it's online, you'll still have a list of the names of all of them. So you can always just approach them and start a conversation on whichever particular area of law you're talking about. And the second one would be that whenever I'm writing something, what I've started to do is I've started to take feedback from certain people, or ask them about what do you think about this issue. So whenever I need to do that, let's say a topic is on environmental laws in India, let's say, I would approach practitioners who are proficient in environmental law. And so I'd be like, hello sir, my name is Harsh Mahaseth, I'm working on this particular article. I just want to know if I could speak with you for 10-15 minutes. So I think that kind of helps build a rapport as well, because they would also realize that, okay, he's doing this research and he's interested in it. And that kind of helps, I think, building a network of, again, I would like to phrase this, a network of like-minded individuals, or individuals in the particular area that you want to go to. Otherwise, if it's not that, then you can just add people on LinkedIn and just build it somehow.
Because we have been discussing it from so long with the professionals that networking in the field of law is very important, but there should be, some sort of what do you call it? Not a procedure, but people should know as to how to start networking, because they end up doing some silly mistakes. Like they don't know whom they are talking to, or they don't know the area of specialization of that person, and they start networking and asking random questions, right? So that's very important. But you are a young professional, right? So what are your advices or suggestions for the batch of 2020 plus the batch of 2021, would be batch of 2021? What sort of suggestions would you give to them?
So I mean, it's quite general advice, honestly, but something that a lot of law students, they kind of oversee, and something that I discuss with a lot of people as well, which is that just because law school has finished, which is the 5 years or 3 years, depending on how long you've done it, and you still might be confused with the particular area you want to get into. I don't think there's any harm or any problem with that, honestly, because I was a person who did not know what he wanted exactly until my final year as well. And that only came because I was teaching something. What we have in our heads in Indian law schools, and I've seen as well in Nalsar, is that there's this rat race in which everyone's trying to get into law firms. They just want to get the law firm, but they don't think about what they want to do after that. If you just think, if you just take that extra time maybe and just decide the particular area that interests you, I think that would help you more than you just trying to get into a law firm, because the interest might stay, law firms might change. So I think what I would advise is that even if you don't know what you want to do, that's all right. That's completely fine. Take your time. We're just 20. Honestly, I think most of them are 23-year-olds. I graduated when I was 24, I think, 24 or 25. So I graduated a year or two later. But still, that does not matter. I think that we have this in our heads that we need to be settled by the age of 30, which I don't agree at, honestly. I think that it's okay to try, it's okay to go into different fields. I think that's why even yesterday I was discussing this, that a lot of people in Europe are happier because they don't have these type of pressures that maybe we do in India and Nepal, where we think more in terms of, okay, we need to be settled by 30, while a lot of these law schools or students over there, they're just living and they're just happy with it and they can decide as time goes by.
That's actually good advice. But okay, you said that, you need to know that what you actually want to do, because just in that case that you want to go to a law firm, you want to go for a litigation, it's actually very important to know like whether you are satisfied or not, right? So any suggestions for those like who actually want to go for something, but still they are very confused? Or just in that phase that you want to get something because they, after that 5 years, they want a particular job, or they just want to get some sort of salary after those 5 years. Because I've been discussing with this senior associate at sam, advocate Kunal. He also said that working at tier 1 or tier 2 doesn't even matter. What matters is whether you're satisfied or not. So what would you say about it? Like how much satisfaction should be there whenever you are going for something?
I think, of course, I mean, I am speaking from a place where I don't actually have to earn that much. I could have taken any job up and I would have been okay, because I mean, my family would have supported me. I don't think that is possible for everyone. And when I speak from my end, I would be saying that, I mean, there should be a particular level of satisfaction at least, because if you're not satisfied, then you will end up leaving that job at least in, like, let's say a year or two. A lot of people from my university, they join law firms, and you see um, them leaving law firms for something else. Not just my university, that's from a lot of universities, honestly, that they tend to join law firms and then they shift to, let's say, litigation, or they do clerkships, or they shift into academia after doing an LLM. What I think they're looking for is job satisfaction and the work-life balance, which honestly I'm loving in academia, because getting paid a lot, and then I have really good work timings, and then getting to do what I love, which honestly is the biggest part for me, even if the pay was not this much. But yeah, I think it's more about how happy you are with the work, or how interested the work can keep you. Because if the work is something that you hate, or it's something that's monotonous, you will be bound to leave sometime or the other. That's what I think. Again, I might be wrong, but I think that I care more about the work-life balance, and I do think satisfaction. I do think that is what matters most.
That's sort of good advice, because those who are actually, going to be the batch of 2021 or batch of 2020, they were actually very depressed because of the pandemic. But satisfaction also matters, because where you are working, that also matters. But whether you are satisfied or not, that actually matters. And also, your mental health is very important, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's very important. A lot of
Yeah.
people leave it.
Even during this pandemic, your mental health is very important, because this pandemic came with a lot of traumas and tragedies for some. But yeah, this too shall pass. So with this, we wrap up the session, and thank you so much for accepting my invitation, and thank you so much for sparing your time and giving your valuable thoughts for the audience, for the law students, for the batch of 2020 and beat batch of 2021. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much for. Thank you, and have a great